everybody. Today is February the 27th. 2 more days before the end of February, and welcome to our morning market call. Um, this is our second or third one so far. In this, the last couple of times that we did our market call, we were explaining a lot of the fundamental stuff. So this one, we will do it a little bit differently. The last couple ones were a little bit longer as well because I was trying to explain the fundamental concepts. So instead, on this one today, we will basically focus on the market movements in different currencies, identify good trade setups, and also talk about how to use the intraday trading strategy in so all right, so let's start. I have my um, FTMO account, demo account connected to my expert advisor, and I have logged into our website. So let's start off with what happened yesterday. So basically, yesterday we had the Trump cabinet meeting come out around, I bet it was around 3 o'clock. And he said a bunch of stuff about tariffs, and that kind of moved the markets. It definitely felt like a Fed day, where it was the markets were just ping ponging, and the price was just ping ponging, and it was just really hard. For example, you see here, I think yes, around this was the time. Oh, was around 3 o'clock. So where was it? I'm just trying to find that part. So basically, what Trump came out was he was having a cabinet meeting. He had a press conference. He came out and he said he was gonna, he considered Europe his friends, but at the same time, he also wanted to slap 25% tariff. And the other thing was also that he was going to go ahead with the um, tariff in the to Mexico and Canada. Right, so this was the one. Sorry, yes, around 350, around or so. If I were to go to a 5 minute chart, then this is exactly what happened. The price was just ping ponging. There was a big high volatility event, so it kind of felt like a Fed day, right? So right now the price is the U.S. dollar is really strong right now, and the reason why that is because the GDP numbers that just came out at 8:30, and the market is just trying to price it in. I'm guessing that Q2 GDP wasn't as bad as expected. The price index, oh, this is what it is. So the price index, which measures the inflation in the GDP. Oh wow, the core CPE price is also higher than expected. So basically, the GDP price was as expected. The core PCE price, which I think the Fed uses to measure the inflation in the economy, that was a little bit hotter. Definitely was expecting 2.5 and it came in at 2.7. The PCE price index, also another measure of inflation, came in a little bit hotter. So basically, what I'm guessing the market is starting to price in is the Federal Reserve not cutting interest rates, or at least staying on hold. So if I go to the Fed monitor, tool monitor, let's go over here. Um, if I go to the Fed monitor, then I will most likely see that the market is starting to um, price in that the Federal Reserve is not going to have as many interest rate. So let's see here. Okay, here we go. Yesterday we had the market pricing in um, interest rate cuts at 4%, and now it's gone to 2.5. Let's move down the line. Similar thing, it's just off by 2. I think might be really an interest rate cut down the line. Okay, so maybe that's the reason why the volatility is coming in. But down the line, it hasn't really changed, but it's just the fact in March and May. Market is pricing in that there's less chance of a Fed cut. So hence you see this price action with USD being significantly stronger. Okay. Anyways, the best way to really, avoid this is volatility is just to sit it out, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen. So we're just going to do a market recap from last night. We'll do the Asia session and we'll look at different instruments. We'll identify, a good setups. We'll try to identify clean charts versus noisy charts, and so forth, right? So last night, okay, so let's start off with what was the strongest pairs last right before. Right now is the USD, but right before that was the CHF, right? So let's do a format where we'll go over the JPY and we'll go over to euros and GBPs and so forth, right? So let's start off with the USD and let's see if it was a noisy chart or a clean chart, right? So we're gonna start off with the Asia session. So here we are. During the Asia session, GBP was, sorry, the AUD was, so US dollar was pretty strong. So one thing that I would always like to point out, and you can do this, and you can look at an intraday chart and see this behavior of price over and over and over again, is that when you have like a direction, a trend during the Asia session, like this one, USD was strong, so you have Euro USD, so everything was pretty much USD was the strongest. So you had Euro, you had say USD CHF, same thing, USD was strong. So overall in Asia session, USD was strong. So if you when something like this actually happens in the Asia session, what you kind of tend to notice is that price starts to have a little bit of retrace from any time between from 11 p.m. EST to about when the European market opens. The price will just take a breather, and then after the European market, it will either do a reversal or there will be a continuation of the price, right? In this case, you had about 12 o'clock, and then it was just getting ready for the markets to open in Europe, and then the markets, and then once Europe opened, the market took the price a lot. Market took the price higher, right? So you will see this over and over again, especially when there's like a strong trend. So US dollar was the strongest. If you look at USD JPY, was a little bit, the JPY pairs were a little bit noisy. The chart was noisy, right? So what is a noisy chart? Something like this was a noisy chart. I mean, when this actually happens, we don't know if it's noisy or not. But you see here, the price went up. No, this was yesterday, my bad. There we go. Asia session. Oh, sorry, USD was strong. So we're gonna do first maybe JPYs. Let's start with JPYs. JPYs is very popular, one of the most liquid pairs, right? So you have something like this in Euro, where Euro was just basically, wasn't really doing much. So it was a bit noisy. It went up and then it broke down to the lows of the day, and then it started rallying up again, right? So around 12 o'clock, you can just basically call this like maybe even a range, right? Um, so around 12 o'clock, you see that it did not even close at the lows of the day, right? So at 12 o'clock, you have, sorry, at the beginning of the session, the price kind of rallied up a little bit. And then when Asia opened, it went down again. So kind of in the range. And then it failed to break the lows of the day. This was the lows of the day at 7:30. And then it kind of rallied up again, right? So this is a noisy chart. Um, and then come London Open, the US, the JPY just, lost its appeal and then became one of the worst performing currencies, right? So if I go back here, so if I were to take a box plot here and then say, okay, well, where was like a good point? If you were to take, if you were to, say for example, if you were to take a trade here, so we will look at the candlestick formation, swing low, swing high again. This is going to be a standard practice, right? So if you take, if you look at the swing points, swing low, swing low, swing low, right? This is an interesting one because this is the biggest swing point in terms of the average range, right? We can actually identify this as a bigger swing range than something like this over here, right? So this is another swing position right here. So the chart is noisy. I mean, if you want to take a trade, if you do want to trade something like this, then you'll just wait for European Open, to combination of factor, European Open, prices moving higher and you go up. The other thing that I definitely want to mention is that you see here, right? This is a 15-minute chart, right? And you see this formation right here. You see this formation right here. The average range is a lot higher than, say for example, this swing range, right? The range of the swing is a lot higher than what came before it, right? So it's a lot higher than the average. That's what I'm trying to say, right? A swing range is basically you take the 5 bars that forms the swing, and then you measure the highest to the lowest points, right? That's the range of those 5 candles. So if you see something like this, you can definitely break it down to a 5-minute chart, which makes it a little bit easier to read. So if you were to trade this, you would just wait for London to come in and break a little bit higher. Obviously, we don't know if it's a reversal or not, right? But that's the whole point. You'd make a calculated bet. So, and it's also very hard to catch. Maybe at some point, we will automate this and send out notifications that an event like this is happening in price, and that would be really cool. So you have this, and then you say, well, this is like kind of like big, so you're just gonna wait until a 5-minute chart. I mean, like I said, intraday trading, you can do 5-minute, you can do 15-minute. It's perfect. So you wait on a 5-minute chart, and you sort of take a like the other thing is entry points, right? So do you just enter right now? Is the question. You see this price moving, and you say, okay, well, do you just enter right now? Generally, what I would like to suggest is that you're trading on a 5-minute chart. Just wait until 5 minute is over. So every 5 minutes, you open your position, right? So right now, had you done over here, the price is going up, so you would have a little bit of a thing. So if you want to trade this, then just wait until 5 minutes, right? The main point is that you just don't want to go in and then press a button, right? That's just good practice. Maybe the price will go higher, maybe the price will retrace as it is right now. There's still there's still I would say like 3 minutes 20 seconds still to go, so the price does look like it's retracing. So those are just good practices to have, right? So that way you're also not having a FOMO, right? In trading, you're gonna have FOMO. Oh, price is going up. I'm just gonna hit that click buy button. No, just wait. You're trading a 5 minute chart. Just wait until the you've identified, like for example here, right? You've identified. You just wait 5 minutes, and then you've identified that there's a trade here. So you just go in and whatever. I mean, in this case, I would most likely just do um, like put my stop loss at the bottom of this bar. And definitely you can do this as well, but I just want to do the reason why I do this bottom is so that it gives me a good ratio over here, right? So this is 1 2 3. um, so if I were to trade this 1 2 3, then my take profit would be right around the highs of the day. I mean, would this get hit? Definitely this would get hit because it's a Euro JPY, and you don't have a lot of spread on Euro JPY. Okay, so that's Euro JPY, and this is something, a practical trade that you would do. I can't trade the London Open because I'm in EST time, and I'm sleeping. You see here right now the price is retracing. So had you taken the trade over here, looking at this formation, and you take the trade over here, prices definitely move back, right? So we still got a minute and a half remaining until the close of 5 minutes. So um, that's that. And plus, the other thing is this price is just like train has left the station. Why follow it, right? This one, not so much because there's you look at your daily average high, and you say, well, this could potentially really go up to it could be a day like this, right? So you would definitely aim for something like this. So Euro JPY, let's go through the JPY pairs. Australian JPY was the same. You had pop up, and then you had a pop down, right? This one, the Australian dollar was a lot weaker than yesterday. Sorry, last night when you look at the currency strength meter, it's a little bit weaker. See, now the Japanese yen is turning, right? It was like minus 45 or so, and now it's really turning around. And you can see that on the chart as well. So this is this Australian dollar US thing was just coming up. So this is noisy chart. You don't really take any trades um, because it's just noisy. Um, I mean, let's look at the swing formations on 5 minute. Right, swing formation sell, swing formation buy, green green green, red red red, uh, red red red, green green green. Right. I mean, like I said, we definitely want to automate this in the future. So when you pull up the chart, it just shows you right away. So you could have something like this, and then trade it over here, and then you could definitely get your 1 2 3 right around here, right? If you did trade the Asia session and you're expecting the price to go down, or you can always, I mean, I technically, it depends, right? If you'll have days where Japanese yen is like, you'll have like sudden volatility at the open, right? Not even just at the open, you'll have it like at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock EST time at night, when like a couple of hours before Japan opens, and yen will like suddenly just go down. In that case, it makes sense to sort of go short because it breaks the previous day low, and then it's a good idea. It's a good trade. Again, right? We don't know. Basically, just calculate decisions that we make, and based on that, we'll just take our action. So this would go down. Yeah, I know, pretty a good trade. There are days like that. If I were to pull it up, let's see. Some days you will have. I just want to see. Okay, like this, right? Um, You have a close, and then the opening, it's already down, right? It's already down, and then you go down, and that's what happens. So, uh, so, so coming back to this AUD JPY, um, now it's not breaking the lows of the day, and it's sort of starting to sit around the range. There we go, in the range. The lows of the day is right over here. So why is this JPY moving? Most likely because US dollar is moving, right? US dollar is really strengthening right now, and with that, it's also taking its most favorite correlated pair, which is the JPY. Okay, so you have the AUD JPY, not a clean chart again. So you might want to avoid trading that. Same thing with, same thing here as well, 12 o'clock. So when you see this and you say, well, JPY, Euro JPY, USD JPY, you see this and you say, well, it kind of went down, it bounced off the 12 o'clock. What is this, what is driving this price action? It's the JPY, right? It's the JPY that's driving it. It's not the numerator, it's the denominator that's moving it, and you'll see the same price action everywhere, right? So, except for USD JPY, which I'm going to get to into a bit. So if you look at CHF JPY, same thing, right? This is JPY leading the price action. It's the CHF. Whoa, where is that? Canadian Japanese yen. Same thing, but not a lot of volume on this one. Canadian got really hit hard around the close yesterday because of Mr. Donald Trump's, President Trump's comments, and then it's just kind of like lick its wound, I guess, how I would say it. So GBP JPY, similar thing. It's not the GBP that's leading this. I think as a currency trader, and as currency traders don't normally do this. They just focus on one instrument and all that stuff. But hey, there's a numerator and there's a denominator, and what's really moving the price? Is it the numerator or is it the denominator, right? I think that's something that thing. And banks use this. Banks see this, right? Banks will see this, and banks will say, okay, they're always doing arbitrage trading between pairs. Okay, so this is with the JPY pairs and the USD JPY. All right, this is different. You see here, USD JPY was bang on, like higher right off the start, right? Why? Because this price action was not led by the JPY. JPY was weaker, stronger around this time, where you see the other pairs, sort of be on a downtrend. But this one was different because it's the USD that was leading the price, right? So you see this one and you say, well, when I was looking at the heat map, and I was like, okay, well, this one, it's the USD that's leading the price action. So unlike the other ones where all of a sudden you had like a deeper sell-off, a deeper JPY strength, in this one that didn't really materialize because USD was much stronger. Right? So swing points, exercise, swing points, swing point, swing point. You can do this the whole day. Swing point, 5 bar, swing point, and then London comes in and it breaks higher, right? Oh, and the London Open. So because that is such a big, you're looking at this bar and you're saying, okay, you're looking at a 15-minute chart, and every 15 minute when it happens, you're just looking at it and you say, okay, you can do a chart refresh in 15 minutes, right? So you look at this in 15 minutes and you say, okay, well, this looks like a really big swing range, right? This is a really big swing range. So you can break it down to 5 minute. I love to break it down to 5 minute. This is it. Um, so something like this, right? And then I'll say, well, where are my points, right? This is when the GDP came out. So where are my points, right? And you say, well, Q1 median, good targets, and then you just say, for example, you even missed the first 15, right? So if you look at this one, it's 15 and this is 30, right? 2 bars. So you had a good 15-minute interval to analyze your chart. So 30, if I go here and I look at 30, this is 30, right? This is 30 right here. This chart right here, that's a 30, right? So you see here, again, candlesticks, green, 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 4. This one is called, I think in candlestick terms, is called the 3 marching shoulders, right? Shoulders, 3 thing. And if it was the red ones like this one, this is called the 3 black crows. So you have that, and then when you get into you're presented with this fact, and you say, well, I'm going to make a trade based on this information. Where do I put my stop loss, right? You put your stop loss over here, all the way back here. Guess what? You really have to hit, like, if you want to do 1, 2, 3, you really have to hit the higher ranges, even way beyond the Q3 daily price range. That's really high. You say, well, you know what, I'm just gonna maybe because this looks like it's starting a sort of like a upward movement, then I'm just gonna do this. Right, place it, you're taking a thing here, you just place it a little bit lower at the bottom, or you can even go half thing here, and your 1, 2, 3 would be right around here. Oops, did not hit it, right? I mean, we don't know this because this is after the fact, but that's okay. You can, definitely put like your stop loss. You move your stop loss to a reasonable price, or you have like, an entire, because this is day trading. So you just sit down at your desk and you just, watch the charts. Just like the good old days at the New York Stock Exchange, when people used to just sit there, for like 8 hours and look at the screen and look at the price movement, right? So, anyways, going back up. So, continuing our conversation. So yeah, I mean, you have this entire time where you can, you can close your trade, because it's not hitting it, and you just go up and thing. So USD JPY we covered. We're gonna cover CHF JPY because CHF JPY was an interesting one, because CHF was okay. So basically you have this. Oh, I'm looking at the thing, so I always try to with a 15-minute one. So same thing here, JPY strength, it goes all the way down. You had swing here, right? So down, one more leg down, and then you have this swing position over here, and then London open. This one was interesting because the reason why the other pairs, London open, the most of the other JPY pairs in London open, they broke through their daily high. This one didn't. So this one is when the JPY weakness was happening, right? So if I look at the other charts going back, London open, broke the daily high. USD cheap. I'm not a, I haven't done the GBP yet. NZD, I haven't done the NZD yet. So AUD JPY, the London open, it broke the higher, right? London open broke the higher. Euro JPY, the same thing. Well, the reason why the CHF JPY didn't break it is because CHF has been pretty weak throughout the day, and this is one of the things that I was talking about to a friend yesterday. Is that why is the CHF so weak today? We don't know. Um, there's no news out of CHF. Yesterday was strong. Today it's weak. What's going on? I think it's just because of the fact of what the banks, the trades that banks are doing. Maybe capital inflow trades the banks are doing that. That these sort of weakness or strength that happens throughout the day is something that you will, on a particular currency, is something that you will see, right? When I connect. So that's CHF JPY, and then GBP JPY is very similar price action, right? So you will see here, same as the euro, it will just, thing. GBP actually today is not as weak as the euro, so it had a little bit upward momentum. So if you were to say, okay, this is this price movement is led by the JPY weakness, then I want to make a trade. Then what do you want to trade it on? You want to trade it on the stronger currency, which would be the USD JPY, right? Or if you find out that this is not a good trade because there's been significant price movement already, then you say, well, what's the second strongest currency, right? And then based on that, you make a trade. So the second best currency right now is the GBP. So I don't know. That price chart is based on the daily stuff, so the daily price movement. So GBP is just one behind the USD, right? So this would be a good trade, right? So you look at 315 and then you say, well, 320, I want to do my trade at 320, right? So you go over here, 320, the price moved, 315, 315, you had 315 here, and you had the 315 here. So right now is 915. Okay, so 315, this would be 320, right? So 320 right here. This is at 320. Your price is already here. It is closing. It closed high up over here. You just take a point profit. You just take a low, and then you just aim for 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 4. Very, very, very close. All right, very close. So I don't know if this would get filled because it is so close, and it also depends upon how you would get filled, right? But yes, so it's okay to sort of use a stop loss at the bottom of a bar, especially when you have a really strong trend, because the price has significantly moved around. What are your stop loss options? Your stop loss options are here, here, and here, right? So this is more risky but higher return. This is second risky and lower return, and this is less risky because sometimes the price will just go up here like this, and then it will go up again, right? So I mean, something like that happens, then it's okay. You can get into the trade again. You have how many numbers do you have? So especially if you're doing trades that are lower in, especially if you're doing trades that are higher a risk. So if you're doing 2.5, then maybe it's a good idea to just stick to over here, and then just aim for 1 to 2, and definitely didn't hit 1 to 2. So maybe you say here, you say, okay, well, I'm gonna aim right here. This is like a safe spot. But also the fact is that something like this happened. Okay, so again, this kind of noisy chart stops being noisy around here, and then it hits its daily average, and it just reverts back. But this is basically driven by the news, right? So now it's the JPY and the USD that's moving this price action. Okay, so we're gonna get into the USD pairs now. USD pairs stronger throughout the day. Again, around strength is there. You'll see this something like this around 12 o'clock, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, Asia's closing, take profit, price, does a reversal, and this is just basically news. So this is not predictable, right? Could have gone either ways. The news could have been bad, and this price would be right over here. So, excuse me, that's why they say price is random, right? So, there was an interesting trade here yesterday. The other thing is, like people say, sometimes we'll say, well, what should your, trade, not your trade size, but your stop loss size be, all right? So you can, see here, you have this, and then you have, this is a swing bar, and this is a swing high, 3 bar down, right? So you take a position right here, you don't know, just based on whatever, and you take a position right here, and you aim like 1, 2, 2, then you're good, right? 1, 2, 2, you're good. If you do 1, 2, 3, you're not good. I don't know if this would be fill because it's so close to your thing, but at least if you use a risk management where you take partial profit after you get over here, or even if you get here, you take partial profit, and this trade breaks even if it goes back, and price reverses and it goes back, then around here, then you would like the price will reverse and you break even and you're fine. You're broken even because you took partial profits, right? So that's the USD, Euro USD strength all over, GBP USD, mostly being driven by the USD strength, right? So this time around, when Europe happened, was when I'm guessing the USD weakness, right? If you look at this chart over here, you will start seeing that the USD was starting to weaken. For example, if I look at something like this is the high, low, low. So right now we are right around here. So it's not in the highest of the highs, right? So let's look at the GBP pair, the USD pairs, right? So AU to USD 59 is the highest. Right now we're at 52. So AU to USD, we're just really banging on the lows of the day because it's USD at the bottom, right? So same thing. Asia session, was the USD that was strength that was really driving this, and then USD strength. You see here, it's the USD that was driving this move. It wasn't the AUD or anything like that. It was just the USD, right? So USD lost its momentum. Same thing you'll see over and over again. So you'll see this again, right, over and over again. I mean, and maybe this one is interesting because you see here and you say, well, it kind of like broke to the highs. You're expecting the price to sort of rally, and this is what it is over here, and then but this is different because then you're the market is just saying, hey, hang on a second, we're not going to make any bets because you have like these very important data coming in. This is very important data, right? You have, no, this is tomorrow, my bad. Initial jobless claims tomorrow at 8:30 is going to be very, very important. So you had this Wednesday. No, actually, you know what? This is today, Thursday. My bad. I'm kind of getting messed up. Okay, so you had the durable goods order come in. Hold on a second. Up next. So there we go. Initial jobless claims a little bit higher. I think the market kind of overlooked that, but the market is really focusing on the price indices because they measure inflation, and Fed has two mandates, which is job and inflation, full employment and price stability. So yeah, something like this happens, then everybody's in the financial market is going to take a breather and say, well, we're just going to wait until the number comes out. So and then number came out and the number went down. So NZD thing is, you see here, right? This is very thing. This is a much cleaner chart, right, than your GBP. Why? Because NZD has been the worst performing currency throughout the day, right? So it didn't go over here like the GBP did or the euro did. It didn't go over here. It just had a small bearish flag, right? So when you do this and you look at this and you say, well, if I want to, if I'm going to bet that the US dollar is going to continue strengthening for the rest of the day, then what currency pair, which pair am I going to use? Most likely it's going to be the NZD NZD USD, because NZD has been weak the whole day. So you will see this uniformity in terms of weakness throughout the day. Same thing with AUD USD. It didn't really go up high and break, because if you look at Euro USD, it was Euro USD didn't really break high either, but you see here it was a deeper correction, right? Versus AUD USD, which was like a lot less correction, and same thing with NZD USD as well. In this one over here, GBP USD a lot higher. I'm guessing that there was a little bit stronger GBP strength that was coming in, right? We have to look at the data. But yeah, there was probably, because if I go to AUD USD, then obviously this is a nice clean chart. Okay, we're going to cover that in a bit. We're just going to go over, complete the AUD, the USD pairs. So you have this, this is when the thing came out, and there was a lot of Canadian strength at some point, and which I'm going to get into later. But it came in and then it went out again, right? This one again, right? So when you're doing session theory, you got to look at 11 to 2 o'clock for a reversal, or just a correction, and then the price goes up. Okay, so we complete the USD pairs, and then the euros. We're gonna quickly do the euros. Nothing in the euros. This is a very noisy chart. I'm not gonna go over it to save some time, but you can see you're very, very. I mean, you remember I was talking about a little bit the Canadian strength. So because of this, movement. Canadian, there was a little bit of Canadian strength at the opening of JPY, and again, that was probably just because the Canadian dollar was just licking its wound from all the battle scars from Donald Trump. Okay, so I'm going to look at the Euro NZD, same thing, not much really happening, and you're trading Euro NZD. This is not a clean chart, just stay away from it. And then Euro GBP, same thing. And you see here a lot of GBP strength coming in, but basically not much. But this is not as bad, because you kind of draw a trend line and you say, well, it does look like it's going down, right? So if you actually draw a channel, then it'll look like a channel like this, right? And this is a break of a channel right here, right? So something like this, you can it's tradable, because it's not as like the price is like yes, it's in a downtrend, but it's not as zigzaggy. It's kind of a little bit cleaner. So you look at that. Euro JPY we already went. Euro CAD we went. Euro CHF. CHF is an interesting one today, and that I'm going to get into in a bit. So Euro CHF has been the worst performing currency throughout the day today, right? So something like this you see here. I'm not going to draw this. Well, let's draw the swing points, right? So you have swing points here, swing points here, swing points here. So this is interesting swing points. So with Euro USD, Euro CHF, you just got to be a little bit careful, because sometimes you get hit with spreads, I mean, CHF generally moves like, it has very low range, move like 20 thing and stuff. And even if you do the position calculation, CHF comes in a lot higher. USD and JPY pairs, if you have a USD dollar, every pip ends up becoming 6.6 to 7 per lot. CHF pairs, it comes up being 11 to 12, just because CHF is it's a higher currency value. Right, so if you look at this is a good one to trade because around London session, you can, definitely identify the swing high, broke over here. So, look at this, right? So if I were to measure this to this point and I go over here, and that's just 35 pips. And daily range tends to be a lot lower for CHF pairs. So, this is what it is. You come over here, you recognize this, 15 minutes is over. You recognize this, and then, you take a high from here, you get good ratio, good risk reward ratio. You even take this here, you don't get good reward ratio, you get 1 to 2. Again, like I said, higher risk, lower risk, higher risk, lower risk, right? Or for example, if the price is, well, the price opens right here, that's the close price, right? So the close price were here, and then you say, well, I'm gonna do like a previous close, right? But this is not really a good one, right? So this one is where you would get hit, right? So it's always advisable to do one before, right? You get your 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 5. Yeah, I mean, you even get a 1, 2, 5. Again, you're day trading. You're in your front of your screen, monitoring your trades, just like how the actual floor traders would do it. Okay, so you have this. You have euro. No, we're in CHF. Where were we? CHF or euro? So we already covered this one. Okay, so let's move on to the CHF pairs, and I was talking about it. The best trades were in CHF, USD CHF. Very nice and clean chart. Same thing, US dollar strength coming in, US dollar strength losing a little bit of momentum here, right? And remember, I was talking about this. This is not as deep of a correction at all, just a little bit of deeper correction. So you're saying, okay, well, here, breaks highs over here and so forth, right? And this is basically the thing. So if I were to take a 5-minute chart here and then think that, price really has an upward momentum, oh, this is like really hitting high, so I wouldn't chase this, right? This is just really hitting high because, USD is the strongest right now and CHF is the weakest. So, and then plus you're heading into, reversal time zones, so you're just not gonna chase this. Okay, so CHF, that was the trade there. GBP CHF. GBP CHF is when, okay, this is interesting. Sorry, we're just looking at the London session right now. So London session, look at this. There was a deeper correction coming in, and you see this, right? You see this formation. Green, 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 higher, 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 higher. Lower is higher, lower is higher, lower is higher, lower is higher. So it's very good. Take a chance, something like this. That CHF is the weakest, overall. So, you can really hit your trade. Bam, 1 to 7, 1 to 10, whatever. And then guess what? It really hits the median of the day, and it just kind of like makes a reversal. Right? So here I am at this point, and again, right? Am I gonna chase this? Most likely not, because really, where am I gonna go? So CHF, GBP CHF tends to be a little bit higher range, daily range movement, because any pair with GBP tends to have a higher range. GBP NZD, GBP thing, and all that stuff. So let's go over the odd CHF. Same thing, CHF strength coming in right around London Open. CHF really losing its charm, and then hits the highs. Oh, not really, it just hit the minimums thing, right? So CHF again, right? When you're doing a CHF, you're just basically saying CHF. What are thing, right? GBP is the highest, so GBP CHF is the good trade. USD CHF is a good trade. Okay, so the NZD CHF. I mean, with AUD CHF, NZD CHF, CAT CHF, you just gotta be a little bit thing, because you'll see a light hot, a bigger spread, and then you will see a bigger spread, and you will also see so if you're placing, my point is that if you're going to place your stop loss really close to something like this, like this is a formation right here, price formation right here, right? High, 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 a little bit high, green, green, this red, this is basically I don't know what it's called, just like a pin bar, I guess. It's not a doji, it's not a hangman, it's not anything like that, because it's gonna come over here, or evening star or anything. So this is just basically a pin bar, and then you see something like this, then you just go over here, right? Would I like trade NZD CHF today? Not necessarily, because there are other currency pairs that are more suited to trade CHF, right? So NZD is really hitting it right now. It is the lowest performing currency. There we go. See here, and AUD. So really coming into the median, price zone over here. Okay, so that's that. We covered CHFG thing. USD CHF. Okay, sorry, CHF JPY I already covered already. I'm not gonna go through odd CAD. These ones. I'm definitely not gonna go through this, because they're just basically stuck. I mean, this I remember. So this was when Australian dollar strength was coming in. I'll just do like a relative strength analysis. Okay, so odd thing you see here, odd CAD, London to New York, odd NZD, London to New York. So this price is being driven by the odd strength rather than the Canadian or the NZD, right? So Canadian NZD, if you look at over here, again, right, because the Australian dollar is stronger, so it kind of went over here. Is this a clean chart? No, but this is a very interesting one, where Canadian dollar really. Remember, I was talking about how Canadian dollar was licking its wound, and if you saw that and you said, well, a New Zealand dollar is the worst performing currency, then what do? You just basically go short, right? You bet against the New Zealand dollar. Say something like here. If I were to do here, or if like this one, you see here, it broke the lows of the day. Just say the Asia Open, broke the Asia Open, and you say, well, I'm going to look at this. There's this price range is, this swing range is a little bit bigger than what you would see over here, right? I mean, again, we're gonna automate this. We're gonna have like values to show you, what the values are looking like. Something that we've done in the past. So you see this and you say, well, I'm gonna switch to 5-minute chart. Why not? Lots of trades right here. Red, red, red. Oh wow, and then you just go over here. Something like this. Put it over here. You get your 1, 2, 2. You get your 1, 2, 4, break even over here. Your break even never gets hit, right? And you get your 1, 2, 3 right here. Yeah. And then London comes in, and then you see that Australian strength with correlated to New Zealand strength. It comes in and takes the price higher. Okay. And right here is just what the thing about CAD is that it gets very volatile around 8 o'clock in the morning when the Australian Canadian banks open. So, and then the U.S. bank as well. So you'll see like a lot of volatility in CAD around 8:30. So covered that. We did Australian dollar. We did, I think we basically covered everything. And the other thing that I want to cover is gold, right? This one is interesting because, again, noisy chart versus clean chart. There's a clean chart right here, right? A lot of gold bulls must be, very disappointed that gold is starting to do on a downtrend, right? So you have something like this. That's okay. If you bought gold here, then it's over here. But as a day trader, a 1 hour trader, 4 hour trader, they're all dependent on, let's look at over here, and you say, okay, I was over here. Uh, if you're a 1 hour trader and you see like, put your stop loss, man. That's all I gotta say. Manage your risk. All right? You don't wanna put in yourself in a situation where something like this happens. Right? Anytime, just use a stop loss. Just put something. That's that. Um, so gold, very interesting. You see here it's on a downtrend. Again, red, red, red. I mean, this one is a little bit different because, this is higher than this, but that's okay. These are really small, like, ranges. So you just take here and then you make a bet. You get your 1 to 3, you get your 1 to 5, you get your 1 to 6. At some point, just move your stop loss. Right? Goes to 3, move your stop loss. Right? And then whatever the outcome of this trade is, doesn't matter. You get your 1 to 6 right here. Right? This is an Asia session. Gold doesn't really have thing. I mean, one of the things that I can say, the reason why the gold prices are going lower is because of the USD strength, right? That's all I can say, right? Because what's the denominator for XAU USD? It's USD. So if USD is higher, that means that XAU USD is gonna be lower, right? So that's the case. So anyways, guys, been good. Let's look at the equity market. Oh wow, equity market is really going down because, again, prices are too hot. Cash is going up, NASDAQ is going down. I think this might be related to Tesla news and all the earnings that came out yesterday. So that's that. So anyways, it's been good. Try to do a little bit more compact on next one. Trying to keep it under an hour. But yeah, obviously there's a lot to go through when it comes to going through 28 currency pairs and, going through that. So hopefully in the next, day or so, as we, keep doing this, we'll start understanding, the thing. So basically, again, right, noisy chart versus clean chart, sessions, daily range for your profit target, and understanding, which currencies pairs to make the best bet to utilize that currency strength, right? These are some of the things that, should intrinsically come to you after a little bit of practice. So that's that. Again, we're over at TradeAway, doing our analysis, building strategies. We do a lot of, risk management, and we've really not really gotten into doing trades and stuff or risk management stuff. We're still stuck in, the execution of strategy part. We haven't done exit, we haven't done risk management or order management and so forth. So we're over at TradeAway. We have, we just basically, we're developing a virtual coach, meaning that, you trade in our platform connected to MetaTrader 5, and all your trade data is, we have a virtual coach, an algorithm that kind of reads your trade data, understands your data and makes feedback. So our goal really here is to make a virtual coach. Okay. So again, give us a shout if anything, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for the last day of the month. Okay. Thank you again, and good luck to you guys.